God fucking damn it, we lost another one cheese diver. Okay, let's get back into orbit. Hello Helldiver, you've completed your training and wanna jump down to spread some democracy? Well, too bad, because you're gonna sit here and learn everything you need to survive. But you might ask yourself, who are you to teach me? Well, beside the fact that I'm a Melevlon Creek vet and I got almost 100,000 confirmed kills in action, well, not that much. But I'm clinically on the internet and you clicked on the video, so here we are. Now, I'll teach you how to survive and actually enjoy the benefits of having a forklift when the war is over. Super Earth has the CAF, basically Super Earth Armed Forces. It has many different branches, but the one every citizen of Super Earth dreams to be a part of is the Helldiver Corps. In Super Earth's High Command's words, our pride, the Helldivers are the scalpel of the military might of Super Earth. Young men and women that are drafted from the regular army corps to do their part in the unrestful galaxy that is set on destroying Super Earth. Helldivers are dropped into battle by using the iconic Hellpods, shock-absorbing tubes that break the atmosphere at extreme velocities only to crack the ground when they open to reveal their heroic cargo. Why did I have to mention this? Because it's mentioned that the Helldivers are the scalpel of the CAF. We are dropped into the most hellish environments against impossible odds. The Helldiver Corps is expected to succeed, and we do again and again and again. We are expected to fight against impossible odds, a handful of soldiers going against armies and succeeding against immeasurable odds, so when you wear that cape Helldiver, you wear it with pride. What separates a good Helldiver from a great Helldiver is the way he uses his equipment, because you can give both of them the same equipment, but only one of them is gonna succeed in a high stakes situation where he's surrounded on all sides. Speaking of equipment, let's get to the most important one.
Colonel, you better take a look at this radar.
What is it, son?
I don't know, sir, but it looks like a giant dick.
Yeah.
This is your super destroyer. In many cases, these are much deadlier than the Helldivers they serve. These are classified as Class 6 Series Crewed Interplanetary Combat Vessels, or as we all call them, the super destroyers. Once all the paperwork is filed, you'll be able to name your super destroyer depending on your taste. You can go with something normal, like I did, or you could go with something more inspired. After you get defrosted like a turkey on Thanksgiving, you can explore your ship and see all the facilities around, like the 2 terminals, the war map, and the Hellpods. Of course, we also got the lip service, but they don't really do anything important beside moral support. Too bad they can't really give you oral support. Haha! Am I right, fellas, or am I right, fellas? Right? Well, fuck you guys! Anyway, let's get you to the first ship terminal. That's called the Ship Manager, and it's right here. These tabs right here, they show what they all do, and also explain what they do, because some of you may not really understand from the names, but don't worry guys, I'm here for you. Here you can buy stratagem weapons, eagle bombs, defensive stratagems, and even vehicles. Here is where you can upgrade your destroyer, from the front cannons to the logistics and even the eagle. Here's where you can make your vehicles look more democratic than before. And lastly, the destroyer tab, where you can change the name of your big boy. Now follow me to the second one, which is the armory. We got the weaponry, armory, character, booster, and career tabs. At weaponry you can choose a primary, a secondary, and a grenade. At the armory you can choose your armor set, the helmet and the cape being the most important thing to make your Helldiver look great on the battlefield right before he dies. At character, first we got the body type, where you can choose between lean or brawny. Then there's the voice packs, where you can choose between 4 different packs. Emotes, that's really self-explanatory, you guys understand it already. Victory pose, that's where you can choose the emote your diver will do after you win and you escape alive. Couldn't this be on emotes though? Player card, it's only shown when you choose your stratagems and when you win. And let's see here, the title, it's the thing next to your level and under your name. Now, we're continuing to boosters, where you can see your boosters and what they do. You can choose them in the help pod at the beginning of every mission. And lastly, career is where you can see all your stats. Now, let's move on to the war map. This is how it looks now, and it keeps changing in this space, where you'll find all 3 of our enemies and how many Helldivers active there are, killed in action, and even enemies killed by us, and how many bullets we shot. In this open area you can see all our territories and the sectors taken by the enemy. They're all highlighted by their own colors. These markers will show you where they're attacking, where we are defending, and in some special cases you might even get something like the Jet Brigade. Now moving on this side of the screen you can see the major order, the personal order, which can give different rewards, but usually it's medals. Sometimes you can even get a piece of equipment. I'm gonna choose a planet to go on, and by pressing C we can all see the environmental conditions. By pressing Q or E you can lower or get the difficulty of the mission at a higher level, but usually you need to unlock those by doing full operations on the previous difficulty. You can unlock up to difficulty 10, which is Super Helldive. Once the operation group is chosen, you can see the mission type, the timer, and the map. Once you choose one, or the only one, you and your comrades have to go down to the hellpod hatches. Once the party leader chooses the location of the drop, now you're gonna be sent to the loadout screen, where you'll be able to choose the stratagems you want, the booster, and of course you'll be able to change your weapons and armor right then and there. Here's where you can see the stratagems you get from the mission, and all you guys have to do now is get ready.
It's locked. Hellpods prime. Engaging.
Wait a moment, I'm not done yapping, come here.
Fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking hear it!
Once you press ESC, in the top right corner you can see your level and all the currencies available, and I'm glad to tell you can find all of them and earn all of them for free. First off, we got the samples. The green ones are the common samples, the orange ones are the rare samples, and the purple ones are the super samples. Now, they're all used to upgrade your super destroyer, and here's how to find them all. Common and rare ones can be found in the enemy bases depending on the difficulty, and the super samples can be found from difficulty 5 and above, specifically around this one stone that surely doesn't look like a ding-dong. Now next up we got the medals. They can be used to get items from the war bonds, which is more or less like a battle pass, but not really, because you can access all of them at the same time all the time. You don't really have a timer on these. Now we got the requisition, which is used for upgrades and buying stratagems. Now for the super credits, they are my favorites and the only reason I'm in financial ruin. Now how you can find the super credits, it's pretty simple. You can find them in these or these boxes, or my favorite, the bunker, where you gotta call your buddy from across the map because you found a fucking bunker. Well, to be truthful, you can also get them in the superstore, and that's a nice way to show support to Arrowhead, even though they don't really deserve it sometimes. But back on track, with these you can buy armors or weapons in the superstore, which, you know, the weapon part is kinda controversial sometimes. But back to it, you can also buy war bonds, which include weapons and armors, and usually they're like 1,000 super credits each, and you get multiple weapons and multiple armor sets with some nice skins on the side.
So you're a killer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Let me see your war face.
Sir!
You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face!
Ah!
Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face!
Ah!
We finally arrive at the bread and butter of this game. But before we talk about the loadout, let's talk about the so-called classes we have here. And I say so-called because there's no classes in this game, but I see a lot of people using the same stuff as other games do, and here goes nothing. Well, first off we got the Scout first, or some people call them the Solos. Usually they wear light armor, preferring to have speed over survivability. They go around the map completing smaller objectives, secondaries, even taking out smaller outposts, while the team takes out the big targets, and while that happens they go around searching for resources like super credits, medals, and samples. Now on the opposite side we got the heavy or the big boy hunter. Usually if you see someone running a heavy build, they are all about taking care of the biggest and nastiest enemies possible. The moment they speak, they'll tell you about how you should back up, lol man, I'm going for the strider, and they will do so, and that strider is gonna die and then cry about how this is unfair, man, nerf their weapons. The medium or the all-rounder, since this guy is responsible for keeping the hordes of the heavies back and making sure he has enough time to take down the tank or the strider or the bile titan or the charger. You get what I'm talking about. Now here's something you don't see a lot of, the support. It can be put in two categories, the engineer or the medic. Now the medic will keep the squad alive and resupplied by using the medic armor, the B1 supply pack, and of course the steam pistol. The engineer on the other hand will still try to keep you all supplied and in good health, will mostly use the defensive stratagems to do that, such as the turrets and the gun emplacements, and of course the FRV to get you all some fire support or get you from one place to the other as fast as possible and all safe. Now that we got past the broader classes, since I don't wanna get into details or all the builds out there, we go towards the weapons. Now overall you have to know you got a primary, secondary grenade, usually a stratagem weapon, with or without a backpack. Now if you don't really have a team to talk about what you all are getting, I would recommend you guys get a clearing primary, a secondary that can do medium damage, or the other way around. The grenade is really your choice depending on the faction you're fighting. The stratagem weapon is the most important. Usually if I go with what I told you earlier, I would bring a big boy weapon to clear the heavy armor enemies. But you get it, usually if you don't have a team established, you should do some sort of a all-rounder build or like a heavy build. I'll give you an example. For the bugs, I'll go with the cookout as a primary, either the senator or the verdict as a secondary. The grenade will be impact or impact incendiary, and the stratagem weapon will usually be the recoilless rifle, expendable anti-tank, heavy machine gun, or the commando. Get how this works, right? Good, now let's move on.
No.
On this one, it's self-explanatory. You gotta research how the enemy you wanna fight works, all their perks, enemy types and variants of those types, and what they do basically. Okay, I'm not gonna say you gotta carry a list with you the whole time, but you should at least be able to eye the enemies and realize, oh shit, that's a charger, or that's a variant of the charger. It will come in close trying to launch you into the stratosphere. I'll give you a crash course on the Terminids since I believe they're the most beginner friendly out there. They're called bugs, or as the veterans call them, oil bags. Yes, your ship works on Terminid juice or element 710. But now that you know why we fight them, let's see how they work. Since they're bugs, they'll try to come in close and deal a lot of damage by claw or by trying to crush your skull in. So normally you should try to keep your distance, make them follow you around while you take down their numbers so you can minimize the horde, and of course flame and shock weapons work the best on them. I do recommend you bring a close quarters weapon since eventually they'll try to get the drop on you. Now this was for the much simpler enemies. In the future you'll meet something like the bile spewers that will try to spit bile towards you and your allies. You can get around that by having a medium range weapon. Even a close quarters weapon is okay, but you'll have to be more careful. You'll have stalkers, for example, that will turn transparent when they get close to you. Usually taking care of the stalker nest will solve your problem, and yes, some of these special units have their own nests. You'll get shriekers who are flying terminids who use numbers to deal damage while you guys are focused on something else. Usually taking care of the shrieker nest will solve the problem as well. You'll be facing Bile Titans, Charger variants, Impalers, whose actual role is to more disrupt the squad formation so you guys get spread out so the little guys can actually deal damage. That's where the heavy stratagems we talked about come in to take care of these guys. And lastly we got the commanders, specifically the Brood Commander and the Alpha Commander, whose role is basically to keep spawning enemies while they make the horde bigger and bigger, so you guys just have to take care of them really fast and that should be it. We've arrived at the last and most important part, navigation. Why is it so important, you ask? Well, it's important because with good navigation you'll finish missions fast and cover all the little secondaries and gather all the samples you guys can. It's important to know these things on the map, like this square right here, that's a building right there. Or for example, you see this place right here? It looks weird, right? Too clean. Well, that's a farm. Here's some holes you can find. You'll be able to find this one with a stone behind it. That means it's a bunker. If you see this one with just a hole there, that means it's a hole with one of these cargo boxes. I think you get the most important idea, right? Usually that's how they work. They look a little bit too clean. They look a little bit out of place. As time goes on, you'll understand them better, especially since they keep changing, but you'll understand them better, and that means you'll be able to identify the new ones as well. Now, that was my beginner's guide. Hope you guys understood everything you needed to know about Helldivers 2, and if you didn't, well, I don't know, just go on a mission. We'll see if you survive or not. I don't really care.